Breathe deep the gathering gloom. Watch lights fade from every room. Bedsitter people look back and lament. Another day's useless energy spent. Impassioned lovers wrestle as one. Lonely man cries for love and has none. New mother picks up and settles her son. Senior citizens wish they were young. Cold-hearted orb that rules the night removes the colors from our sight. Red is grey and yellow white, but we decide which is right and which is an illusion.
Don't you just love that gong? I love that gong. Poem's not bad either, huh? Good morning, my name is Rob Raucci, and so glad that you're here with us this morning. And a big welcome to our YouTube subscribers. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for braving, well, I want to say braving the elements, but braving listening to me this morning. Now, the original talk title was The Matrix, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying About Illusion and Became Enlightened. However, that was a little long, so we decided to use the abridged version and just go with The Matrix. However, this talk is really all about illusion. And The Matrix is the perfect vehicle for this journey into the realm of illusion. Now, the poem you just heard was from the 1967 Moody Blues classic song Nights in White Satin, right here on Warm 98, Cincinnati Soft Rock Favorites. Sorry. I was a DJ in my past life. We decide which is right and which is an illusion. But I'm sure a lot of you are probably thinking, what the heck is the Matrix?
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
What truth?
That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind. Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more. Follow me.
Yeah, in case you're wondering, I took the red pill. The movie The Matrix was directed by the Wachowskis brothers and was a commercial and critical hit back in 1999. What's more, it contained a message which is unheard of in Hollywood, that the life we were living was an illusion. Okay? The story concerns a young man by the name of John Anderson who has a boring job as a software designer during the day, but spends his after hours as a brilliant computer hacker named Neo. Now, Neo suspects something is not right in his world, and something is not right with the world that he lives in. And don't we kind of suspect the same thing? These days, we read the headlines, we watch the news, we spend hours on social media getting sucked into the drama. When things are uncomfortable, when we are confronted with pain and suffering, we think that something is wrong. And what's more, we think that something is wrong with us. We want to push away the pain and the uncomfortable aspects of our life away. We want our safety. We want our comfort zones. Illusion. Who here can say with any certainty that they are absolutely safe? Can you stop sickness? Can you stop old age? Can you stop from dying? We decide which is right and which is illusion. Now, as far as illusions go, the late comedian George Carlin, I know what you're thinking. He's going to get into the heavy stuff with George Carlin. Listen, I'm not going to pull any punches, okay? I've got the Christ died on the cross. You have Buddha took 7 years to become enlightened. I've got 20 minutes to turn you people, all right? So the sooner you're enlightened, the better off you're all going to be. Now, here's Carlin in a 1999 routine telling us that airport security...
It's only there for one reason, to make white people feel safe. That's all. The illusion, the feeling and illusion of safety, to placate the middle class. Because the authorities know they can't make an airplane completely safe. Too many people have access. You'll notice the drug smugglers don't seem to have a lot of trouble getting their little packages on board, do they? No, and God bless them too.
Oh, leave it to George Carlin. Always finds a silver lining in that dark cloud, huh? The feeling and illusion, he says. And the Dhammapada, the Buddha says, we are what we think. All that we are arises with our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make the world. The Matrix, is allegory about the world we live in today. The world we live in up here in our minds. Now, last week, the Rev and I, we don't go out to movies very much, but last week we went and saw Ant-Man and the Wasp. I do like Ant-Man because he communicates with insects, and I just think that's cool. But oh my God, the freaking commercials, mind-numbing commercials before the movie. And I'm sure you feel the same way. You pay good money for a movie, you don't want to be bombarded with commercials. So let's segue and talk about the ultimate illusion, advertising. How many gazillions of advertisements have you seen in your lifetime that have told you that if you buy this or you do that, you'll have a better life, a stable personality, or in my case, personalities, whiter teeth, more friends, a huge home, and so on and so forth. And you can clear up that acne that you've had since the Civil War. Speaking of which, you remember those old advertisements you'd see in comic books and magazines from years ago that told you could clear up acne? You remember this? Okay? And you know it worked because there was a black and white drawing of a person with zits on their face, and right next to it was another drawing of the same person without zits. You know? So you knew it worked. That's another brilliant George Carlin observation. Advertising is an illusion, selling you illusions of things you don't need. Now, in the 70s, certain psychologists posited the idea that, or they warned us, I should say, that some advertisements have sinister subliminal messages running through them. Yeah, that clip kind of tells it all, doesn't it? Now back to the Matrix. Neo, the character of Neo, is played by Keanu Reeves. Now he's searching for the truth. Morpheus, played by Lawrence Fishburne, is searching for Neo as he is convinced that Neo is the one. And Trinity, who you'll meet a little later on in the movie, is played by Carrie-Anne Moss, who is told by the Oracle that she will fall in love with the one. The one. The one what, you're asking? The one who will liberate humans from their bondage. Now, in the red pill, blue pill scene we just watched, Morpheus explains to Neo that humans are in bondage and that he was offering to show Neo the truth, nothing more. The Matrix had to be experienced by Neo himself. Now, as truth students, we know that reading, memorizing, studying, or speaking the truth will not liberate us, will not enlighten us. We must live it. We must experience it. Unity author Catherine Ponder, in her book, Open Your Mind to Prosperity, says, knowledge of the law is not enough. Practicing it is what brings results. And the Buddha was more emphatic when he said, don't blindly believe what I say. Don't believe me because others convince you of my words. Don't believe anything you see, read, or hear from others, whether of authority, religious teachers, or text. Don't rely on logic alone, nor speculation. Don't infer or be deceived by appearances. Do not give up your authority and follow blindly the will of others. This way will lead to only delusion. Find out for yourself what is the truth, what is real. Now, in the movie, the red pill that Morpheus gave Neo was a tracing device so that Morpheus and his crew could find the real, the human Neo that was being kept somewhere in a vast complex where humans were being bred, if you can believe that. Once freed from his physical bondage, Morpheus gives Neo a heavy dose of the truth. Now watch in this clip, because there's a lot of nuggets in here. Listen carefully.
This is the construct. It's our loading program. We can load anything from clothing to equipment, weapons, training simulations, anything we need.
Right now, we're inside a computer program?
Is it really so hard to believe? Your clothes are different, the plugs in your arms and head are gone. Your hair has changed. Your appearance now is what we call residual self-image. It is the mental projection of your digital self.
This isn't real.
What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain. This is the world that you know. The world as it was at the end of the 20th century. It exists now only as part of a neural interactive simulation that we call the Matrix. You've been living in a dream world, Neo. This is the world as it exists today. Welcome to the desert of the real. What is the Matrix? Control. The Matrix is a computer-generated dream world, built to keep us under control in order to change a human being into this.
No. I don't believe it. It's not possible.
I didn't say it would be easy, Neo. I just said it would be the truth.
Stop. Let me out. Let me out.
Yeah, I wouldn't believe it either, but I think he pukes right after this. I had to cut that out, so. But did you like that? The mental projection of your digital self. So the next time you see yourself in a family video, you can say, oh, look, that's the mental projection of my digital self. And of course, talking about illusions, we have the biggest illusion of all, which is, come on, you guessed it, social media. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, all of it. Think about it. Think about it. There's your present-day matrix, the mental projection of your digital self. Zeros and ones, folks. Zeros and ones. That's all it is. And what we are sadly discovering is that social media, not very social at all. Not very social. Oh, but anyway, in the Matrix now, here are these characters living, fighting, and dying in a computer program, and they're up against sentient programs, agents that cannot die. Now, you talk about the ultimate video game. Neo must come into the full realization of his own potential in order to save the human race. He must liberate himself from the Matrix in order to do that. We must liberate ourselves from our thoughts. Thoughts which cause us to suffer. Thoughts which cause us to hate and disrespect others. And we can't blame social media for the hate that's spewed out on a moment-by-moment basis. Social media is just a tool. It's us. And what we do to another, we do to us. No man is an island entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. Any man's death diminishes me, because I am involved in mankind, and therefore never send to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. Now, you could even posit that Neo is a Christ-like figure. I think the movie kind of tends to go that way, a Messiah, if you will. And I've said throughout the film, he is referred to as the One. But I just came to this realization this morning, is that Neo is actually an anagram for the word one. But if we are comparing here and Neo is the one, then I would say Neo is more like the Buddha, the awakened one, on his own path to become a Bodhisattva. And just for your information, a Bodhisattva is someone whose intention is to attain enlightenment for the sake of all living beings. So, in essence, folks, we must not push away the suffering of other living beings as we make our way up the mountain of enlightenment. Now, I've had challenges in the past in my own life, being an animal rights activist, and when I was really into it many, many years ago, I had a revulsion for the human race. And that's a natural thing to have when you're really fighting for the animals. However, it's not the truth, because we are all sentient beings, all of us. And I cannot make that division. I realistically cannot do that. So for myself, to learn more about the teachings of Buddhism was very intrinsic in my own spiritual path, because I began to see things more middle of the road. So it's critical to free our minds and not allow ourselves to be pulled into for or against, right or wrong, hot or cold. The Buddha taught the middle way, and it's our emotions that get us into trouble. We must have loving kindness and compassion for all living beings. But we need to do it with clear thinking and the ability to be dispassionate in any situation we are in. Karen Armstrong, in her book about the Buddha, says the Buddha enjoyed a blessed coolness and peace. By tamping out the unhelpful states of mind, the Buddha had gained the peace which comes from selflessness. So now that Neo knows what the Matrix is, now that he's been told he's the one, he has to realize that spark of divinity within him, which is unity principle number 2. Human beings have a spark of divinity within them. Neo also, like us, must use his power of strength to stay the course, to persevere, which is what the 12 power of strength is, the ability to endure, stay the course, and persevere. Now, of course, like us, Neo has his doubts, and he doesn't believe that he has what it takes to save the human race. We all have doubts, and it's okay. We all question our motives, and it's okay. Now, while Neo, the character, has bonded with Morpheus, and has learned much from Morpheus, he still has his doubts whether he can free himself from the Matrix and, of course, save all the humans. And it's not until Morpheus is captured to the sentient agents where the last city of the humans is located, which is deep in the planet near the Earth's core, that Neo finally springs into action. Neo sets out to rescue Morpheus, even though he was told by the Oracle again that he would die in the process of doing so. In the final scenes of the movie, as the Sentinels burst into the ship, bent on destroying the humans, Neo does battle with the sentient agents in the Matrix, in the computer program. And spoiler alert, Neo dies. He dies, I'll tell you right now. And even though he dies in the Matrix in a computer program, he dies in real life. And the reason being is the body cannot live without the mind. However, Neo didn't count on one thing, and that was the power of love.
Check him.
He's gone.
Goodbye, Mr. Anderson.
Neo, I'm not afraid anymore. The Oracle told me that I would fall in love and that the man that I loved would be the one. So you see, you can't be dead. You can't be. Because I love you. You hear me? I love you. Now get up.
No.
He is the one.
Woo, he's the one, he's the one, he's the one, finally. Well, a little more R-rated mayhem that goes on, but I thought it best to cut it off there. I don't want to. Anyway, I know what you're thinking. He died, but he has risen again. That's kind of Christ-like. Well, yeah, but his mind died and his body followed. To me, that's more Buddha-like. It's a case of semantics here. I'm not gonna argue with you about it. But Neo liberated himself and saved the human race. Now, we must liberate ourselves and save ourselves from ourselves. Okay? The Matrix went on to do 2 sequels, which did baffle box office. It cleaned up at the box office. Though when I watched both The Matrix Reloaded and The Matrix Revolution, I said, what the heck is this? I couldn't make a head or tail out of it. It reminded me of watching 2001 for the first time, right, Bill? What the heck is this? But of your own liberation and enlightenment, take the teachings that you get here and live it. Experience it for yourself. Prove the law. That is the only way. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So there you have it. Now you've learned how to escape from the Matrix. A word of caution, though, okay? Next time a holy man or a holy woman calls upon you, don't be smug.
Where are you taking me?
Tulku wishes to see you at his temple.
A holy man wants to see me? You call that a temple?
No! There!
Where did that come from?
The clouded mind sees nothing.
Yep, the clouded mind sees nothing. Time to uncloud your mind, kids. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you.